All right. Welcome to the product development sprint. We'll be going over the Scrum framework or process. So 2 weeks ago, on Monday, I started a design sprint for Bonsai, and I haven't really done that before. I've done some sprint-like activities when I was first coming up with some of the ideation of it, but I hadn't done an actual design sprint process working on the UI and the UX experience for the app itself. And that's because Bonsai is basically a tool that I can develop in so fast that I can actually develop something working, functioning demonstration. Most of the time I can develop that faster than I could design it in software. But I feel like that can kind of hold you back sometimes. In the same way, it's good to try new things. So I'm very familiar with the sprint process. I love it. I'm totally behind it. We did a solo sprint for a week, and I had a lot of interesting discoveries going through that process. But the ultimate goal is to have not the prototype, but the demo, the end product, the MVP, as quickly as possible. And so Bonsai is kind of a starter template for a SaaS product. You can quickly mold it into any type of SaaS product. And I'm starting to see where this is coming together. It's time for a product development sprint, or just a development sprint. So let me show you a look at this Scrum framework right here. Now, the first time I came across these ideas of Scrum and sprinting and MVPs, minimum viable products, I think it was when I was reading The Lean Startup, when that book first came out. Maybe I read it a year or so after it came out, but that was almost 8 years ago now, I believe, maybe longer. And that was the first time I'd really heard of this new way of developing products where you don't build these insanely long product development cycles. A lot of these ideas were invented in manufacturing companies such as Toyota that were getting really good at streamlining their process. And it's developed like crazy since then. I mean, I would love to just look inside of Tesla's development process, their products, and see how long their sprint cycles are, basically. Because as we go through time, it seems like sprint cycles get shorter and shorter and shorter, where you can be updating products on the go. You can be iterating on a product on a weekly or daily basis, or a lot of the times these companies are doing it multiple times a day. It's pretty interesting. So this was the Scrum framework that most of these companies use. And now I have to stop myself before I just dive into this product development process, because the goal is to have the working product by the end of a 2-week period. The sprint takes a week. Then you do the development sprint. Following the Scrum process, it would be 2 weeks. Now that seems maybe a little long for me. I think we could get away with 1 week, but after doing the design sprint, I was a little bit exhausted and beat from the week, because it takes a lot of brain power to go just through that entire process. So the plan was to take last week off. Problem is that I started itching to work on the product about midway through the week. So Wednesday and Thursday, I did a stream working on it last week, and I couldn't help myself to start working on it. So maybe that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But the point is, I think I would include last week as research. So I'm trying to develop my own process. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Basically, you can do some quick Google searching, and you can pull up these main resources that Google is going to feed me or you. And this is kind of the traditional way of doing it right here. So we're going to take this and we're going to start implementing it, making it our own process. Now the thing is, I realized I'd learn about like the overview of what all of this is, but I'd never really looked into like the hard details of how it's done. So today was a good time to do that and really nail it down so that it's as concrete as the sprint process is. Because generally when I'm doing a product sprint, that's just like a backlog of all these things that need to get done, and I just start attacking it. But the problem is, if you don't slow down for a second, stick your head out of the trenches, then you'll just get so sucked into the trench work that you might miss the bigger picture. You might miss features or stories that you could have cut out that really weren't that important. For example, last week I was trying to integrate events, kind of like Facebook group events, where people can see a public calendar or maybe a private calendar of all the events that'll be going on and be able to respond, going, not going, something like that. I was hitting a couple bugs in it, not working, and I was going to stay up all night working on this until you get to that point. You got to realize, like, this isn't even the most important thing to be working on right now. Like, I could cut this from this week's sprint and it would still be an MVP product. So you got to keep your head out of the trenches by doing planning sessions and not just diving straight in, kind of like I did last week where I just dove straight in. But I think what I'm going to do is you take a design sprint 1 week, and then the next week you can take it off. But it's also research for the development sprint, because that's really what I was doing last week. Is you gotta do the research on the technology, plug everything in, make sure it's all working before you really make it look beautiful or anything like that. So yeah, I was just doing some basic research earlier on the sprint process, the development sprint process. Atlassian, who owns Trello and Asana and a bunch of other cool companies, it looks like they've done quite a bit of work of documenting what their process looks like. And so I've gone through a bit of this, and they've got like a whole blog based on it, basically. But I think what's really important is that I start working on documenting my own, or Bonsai's own, sprint process. And I don't know, I'm tempted to just start really simple. So what would that look like? Just a Trello board. And if we're not going to do a 2-week sprint, I'd like to try and look at this sprint as a 1-week thing. What could we launch by the end of the week? Because that's kind of the whole purpose of Bonsai, is to make it quick to iterate on an MVP. So let's be ambitious. What can we do in a week? And now this is what I got functioning last week. So these are basically subgroups. They launch in a modal window. You have topics, virtual space, resources. Now I was in the process of adding events using full calendar, which is this JavaScript calendar that syncs with Google Calendar API. And so you can design the entire front end of what the calendar looks like while having it synced to Google's calendar. And yeah, this, after doing the research, this by far seemed like the best way to go for the event functionality. Only problem is I couldn't get it fully working. So what I've done is I've marked it with yellow, and yellow means, I like to look at these colors as traffic symbols, basically, traffic colors. So yellow is kind of like a tag of like hold or review type of thing. The closer to red it is, the closer it is to stopping. And if it's green, it means go. So sometimes I'll mark something green if it's just like, we need to put all of our focus on this right now. But mostly the priority exists vertically. And priority means just one thing. So everything else down below really doesn't matter so much. We're gonna always be focused on the number one thing at the top. All of the attention goes there until it's been delegated elsewhere or put into like review or something like that. So that's a pretty simple process of using Trello. I mean, Trello is just so simple and easy to use. Keeps things really simple for now, not having to like get too complex in the project management software. So this is a list of things that I've already gone through, and what I have to do before we get started on this backlog is actually just critique myself a bunch more. So it's kind of interesting when I'm critiquing my own stuff. I really should be sending this to people, and I posted some stuff on Reddit actually. So Reddit's really good at critiquing, like really good at it. Yeah, if you want them to like destroy whatever you've created, just post it on there and pretend to be proud of it, and you will get a lot of good feedback. Which reminds me of some conversation, like people are a lot more willing to put in input when they like want to almost argue or like pick something apart. So it's almost helpful in some ways to just like use that to your advantage. Anyways, this is what we have so far. I'm going to pull up the project, and I'm not certain that this is the most up to date. So let's just go ahead and we'll pull up our bonsai project locally. First, we gotta open up the terminal, pull up paste. I've got all these shortcuts saved in here. We'll figuring up our virtual machine, open up our scripts directory, and inside of our theme, we'll do yarn run start, which will start live reloading. But we gotta wait for this first. just tidying up in our text editor real quick. Okay, so this will ask for a password in a second. Probably should have rebooted my computer before I started a live stream. Let's see. Yeah, my CPU is cranking. And my memory. Smooth, Mason, smooth. I should create a checklist for every stream that I go through. Restart computer before everyone. Because I forget that sometimes, and I really think it slows my computer down quite a bit. Alright, so that's done. I'll do yarn run start. Alright, so let's start going through and just trying to pick this thing apart. Through the week, as I'm working on it, I might send it to some friends to have them do the same. Okay, so the first thing I notice here is this is obviously like bonsai development related. I haven't even updated this page for a few months, so this is all outdated, needs to go. It will focus mostly on this new feature, this component right here, which is handled in the backlog on dedicated groups page. So we're going to take this component and make a dedicated page for it. That way, on the home page, we can display a couple of the different main features like groups, and we could also have like a pricing component still. I'm not exactly sure what the home page is going to look like at the moment, but I believe it would be focused on, like, if we're thinking in terms of like how a future pro group could use this or similar community, I think the home page would be focused on getting pro access. So it would be similar to this call to action, completely different in the details, but it would be get pro access. Maybe just for demonstrations purposes, we would have the ability to be able to add an account right there. I need to work on this a little bit, the presentation of this with dark mode and everything. It's all thrown off. Could have pricing right here, whatever. The homepage isn't going to be as important. I think this would all be member restricted content from the homepage, so if you weren't logged in, it would just say you don't have permission or a call to action to sign up, basically. And okay, so let's do that. Homepage. We'll add a checklist. Get pro access CTA. We need to work on the payment modal. We need to refine that. Let's call action. And then pricing boxes, groups, subgroups. Footer, FAQ, footer. Okay, so we'll go through that pretty much last because the homepage really won't be part of the demonstration as much. The demonstration will probably mostly happen on the dedicated groups page. At least in Bonsai, I would keep it as a component on the homepage and have a separate page. Whereas like if it was for the future, it would probably, the dedicated groups page would be the home page, if that makes sense. So we have topics. Still need to figure out how to separate those into categories. So resources, topics. Yeah, we'll add some about topics. Would we just list topics? Or could be like a curated list of topics potentially. I mean, that works for now. Okay, the home page isn't really the focus right now, so I'm going to put a yellow on it. Okay, well for now we'll imagine these could be curated topics. Virtual space, other than this little padding bar right here. That's being weird. I'd say it's working pretty well. Where it's at, resources, we have featured courses, featured content, books, members, etc. So I think we have enough ideas there to get some decent content in. Then we have events, calendar, goes right there. That's what I couldn't get working. That's supposed to replace this. I never tried without this text. I wonder if somehow the text was messing it up. But we'll get to that last. We've got that deprioritized here at the bottom. I would almost put that in front of the home page though, at least for demonstration purposes for this next sprint. Okay, is there anything else I can think of? The login page is not too bad. I think what I'll do on these sign up pages is make all the fields white. As much as I want it to be dark mode, I actually can't make this field dark because it's an iframe from Stripe. So I might as well make the other fields light as well, just so they stick out a little better. I need to style this as a drop down. There's all some critique thanks to Reddit. And I mean, on that note, I think that's that's all the functionality we're gonna need. I have to get back to Circle. I think my Circle account is still not working. Like even if I go to the futures community, yeah, something's messed up on my developer account. Thing is I feel like I could just start a new free trial. That might be easier than trying to like debug things with their customer support. So yeah, when I get to the Circle integration, let's see, topics tab. That'll probably be easiest for now. And then I've still got the CSS file that matches the embed to match the dark mode. It's kind of nice, but I'll get to that eventually. So I think that pretty much covers everything for the week. The thing is, you know, these things are supposed to take 2 weeks. I'm trying to cut it down to 1 week, but I think I can do this in faster than a week for sure. Maybe I could do all this stuff in like a day or two. And I'm hoping that I can get to the event tab by Wednesday or Thursday, get that fixed. And then by Friday I could put some finishing touches on the homepage. So let's just go through again. Another important thing to get before you get started is just to go through the backlog. Make sure that you have your priorities straight. Now, there's probably going to be some things that we add along the way. There's probably going to be some things we might delete and some things that we reprioritize as we get going. But let's get it the best we can before we get started. Mobile and desktop sizing, like accordion tabs on bottom. So that's kind of like a nice to have feature. I don't think it's needed. And I usually do most of the mobile responsive optimization towards the end. So we could put it right about there. Resources tab. Okay, we're definitely going to need a dedicated groups page, and that's really easy. So it's nice to have some easy things near the top as well that you can just mark off. Topics tab. Navbar. Navbar is really easy, so let's put that towards the top. See, there's some navbar design changes that were inspired by the design sprint, and I'm not fully implementing the design sprint design yet, but I'm going to try and merge them, and so this navbar change I'm making is going to be a good example of that. Topics tab, resources tab. Topics one's going to require the circle trial, so maybe I'll just start a new one. Mobile and desktop modal sizing. Towards the end, dummy content, that's towards the end. I hate doing that, so keep that towards the end. Ready for user testing. Then this is just going to be like the big question is what else? Are we going to add more things to the list? I think if all of these get done, the point is that if all of these get done, then we have our MVP at the end of the week. Another thing would be to duplicate group modal components. Okay, we actually want to do this as much toward the end as possible. So we'll do this about right here. And basically what I mean by that is if we pull up the product, close out of that for now. If we pull up the product, oh, where did I need to get the scroll bar in there. I made a new scroll bar on one version. Port over futures scroll bar. Put that right there. That'll be easy, so we might even be able to put that right here for now. Let's take a look at that. I think I'd only done that on the future demo I was working on. Yeah, look at that scroll bar compared to that one. Looks so much better in the dark mode. Why are you refreshing? Yeah. It's pretty dope. All right, anything else? We'll probably work on the nav bar a little bit more as we go. Let's see, nav bar, shrink height, just update design. I don't know what that means, just we'll find some way. I want it to start looking more like an app and less like a blog. So I think we're kind of starting to get there, especially with all the single page content or single page app type stuff that's going on here and here. I just want to get more of that working, like app-like. Okay, so that puts us 33 minutes in to the stream so far. We've laid out the groundwork of the backlog, and I've never really documented this process before because, one, it's basically just a grind. But with that being said, it is very necessary to take your head out of the trench before you dive in and like establish priorities for the MVP. And trim the fat, cut out everything that's not necessary, or something that might even just be super time consuming that doesn't really add all that much. Maybe you need to cut out some stuff like that. So that's what we've done over this past half hour. I'm going to try and document this process better as we get going, but this is my first implementation of it. So I'm going to take a 10-15 minute break. And when I get back, I'm gonna get started knocking these off. And we have some easy ones at the top, so that'll feel really nice to just get something on the board quickly. Can I just type that without anything? Okay. No, it always pulls up stuff. Ocean, you can do it. Alright, let me turn on my do not disturb. Getting Saints memes. Football season's over. Congratulations to Tom Brady in proving that he truly is the GOAT. I've never given the man much respect, but he took down Drew Brees and the Saints in the playoffs in pretty impressive style, and then went and won the Super Bowl again with a completely new team that the Saints had completely destroyed all season. So, pretty impressive. I think he really is the GOAT, as much as I have hated on him in the past. Alright, let's get started. This is our beautiful backlog. We're going to attack this, get this done this week. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes how long something's going to take. I want to be a little cocky and be like, I think we can get this done like on this stream. But things never work that smoothly, so maybe 1 or 2 days, maybe 3. I'm really hoping that by day 3 or 4 this week, we are fixing the event tab, wrapping up the homepage on Thursday or Friday at the latest. If we can get all of this done by Wednesday, that would be sweet. So let's just get started and see how it goes. Dedicated groups page. Sometimes I'll just mark that as green for go to just like, that is all of my focus right there. Now this should be pretty easy. The question is, do we want to bake it into the scripts right now? Man, Clubhouse sends a lot of notifications. Put my phone on do not disturb as well. Alright. So if we did this under the scripts, which we probably should so that we don't get much tech debt built up, let's product, we'd almost want our own script for it. You know, until I bake things in as like legacy features that are for sure going to be the core functionality of Bonsai, I think we'll move faster if we actually don't script it right now and we do that afterwards. This is a sprint after all, so we're just gonna cowboy code it to some extent. Alright, I'm just gonna move this off page for a little bit, but I'll drag it back after a while so we can stay updated. One more thing is it's always good to have like you can have a to-doing if you want. I just use the green dot as my to-doing, but it's good to at least have like a done or a complete that you can drag them over. Okay. Oops. Accidentally closed that one. Alright, so we're going to find our theme directories. We'll go into web app themes, bonsai, resources, views. Come down here to the template, For now, we can start with the home. This will basically duplicate everything down the line from the home template. We'll call it groups. Groups template. Home, it's groups. Then we'll come up here to layouts. We're going to duplicate home, call it groups. For now, we'll just comment everything out just so make sure we don't miss anything that we want to keep. Grid, we'll keep grid. Get rid of pricing. Cards multi-pack. We can keep that for now. Wistia. I don't think we're using Wistia anywhere here at the moment, so we can comment that out. Okay. I'm just gonna get rid of this because I know we're not gonna need that. And I know we're not gonna need pricing. It's possible we could want something from here. Or potentially something from there, probably not, but. Okay. I think that should take care of it. So this is where I'm tempted to just script it because I could basically do that just as quickly. So if I came up into, I mean, when you productize it, then there's Sensei. Okay, let's take product, duplicate it, we'll call it groups. I think are we on 0.8 now? Yeah. All it does is update a form and notification. Okay. So we actually want to start with, let's see, should take something off Sensei. That'll update a form. Yeah, let's take a page off this, just for example. We'll create groups page. Call it groups. We can grab HTML content if we want. I would rather grab a template. Do we want to grab any HTML? I don't think so. We'll just hard code it all in, so get rid of that. Publish, page template, groups. Ooh, I think if we wanted that HTML, it would be a form that we might want to embed. I don't think we need to worry about that for now, so we'll create the groups page from the groups template. And I'm just gonna open up the backend just so I can verify this all happens. So the WordPress dashboard. Say bonsai.test. I don't know why this gap suddenly showed up. That's annoying. Okay, so we have 13 pages at the moment. Come in here. We're gonna do WP development post create, post type page, post title, groups. Publish it while following the groups page template. Cool. So we'll come to our backlog, take our dedicated groups page, remove that green tag, put it under complete, and we've even scripted it so that next time I'll keep working on this script for this groups feature set or story, as they call it in like a Scrum sprint. But let's see, what was that ID? 135. It's optional if you want to put it down there. It can sometimes come in handy down the road to know it. Have it referenced right there. Yeah, I'll just keep adding to the script, and then by time we're done this week, we'll be able to just run the groups shell script, and it should automatically create all of this feature functionality on top of a base bonsai installation. So now we have the nav bar. Get rid of background color, shrink height, and update design. Update design is pretty vague, but we might spend a minute to kind of just like iterate on top of it. Okay, so let's inspect this. I can't exactly remember how I have this coded together. So there's this background right here, and I have it kind of inline style because of this opacity. Yeah, I guess I was just playing with that, so I kept it inline. So that should actually be super easy. Let's come into themes, bonsai. I'm just gonna delete this bonsai old. It's in the version control anyways, if I needed it. Resources, views, partials. Is that header? Yeah. So we have this background right here. Let's just remove this. Hold on. Go under pages, home, header. Yeah. I actually mean to just combine these now. So let's just go back to the home layout. Take just partials header should do. Why are you reloading again? Please don't go on a reload loop. Oh no, it's stuck on a loop. Good way to fix this is try Shift Command R, or just doing like a hard reload. Empty cache and hard reload, even if you can. If that doesn't fix it, then we're gonna kill the yarn compiling, the Webpack process right here, and restart it. If that doesn't work, basically you gotta reboot the computer, because whenever my computer starts running low on memory, RAM or CPU power starts doing this. Okay, looks like we're good now, so that fixed it. Hard reload. Alright, what was I doing? We have a header. So it seems like it's pulling from this one still, which is not supposed to be. So let's go in home layout, partials header, partials header. Okay. So why is there still a background? Bot shadow, we can remove that as well. no need for an inline styling. See, now it says it's missing. No, it's not. Header. Home. I'm not on home. I'm on groups. Let's take a look at groups. Yeah, this would be partials. That should do the trick. Sometimes it takes a minute to sort itself out. Or there could be an actual problem. Like I spelled partials wrong. Paratals. Paratals. Is it still thinking? What is going on here? It's all because I should have rebooted my computer before the stream. I need to write that down. Create a pre-stream checklist. One. Reboot your computer. Two. Make sure you reboot your computer. So we're officially in another reload loop. I mean, sometimes this happens when there's a bug in the JavaScript. So that, or the styles, the SCSS, but considering we were messing around with that calendar a lot, I'm guessing that's where it's come from. if this doesn't start speeding up, I'm gonna have to cut the stream, do a reboot. Because I don't know what all the fuss is about. Yeah, it's compiling pretty fast. It's just that it's not actually loading very quickly. Okay, well, there should not be this background color, I don't think. Unless, let's see if it updated. Okay, so I must have one also on the CSS that was now taking over. Yeah, that's on banner. Located in leaf dark main. So any chance we can clean something up out of the dark, that's always good. Let's jump on that. Let's go styles, leaf, dark, main. Look for banner. There we have the background, so I'm just gonna completely delete that for now. Hope that it doesn't go to white, because it might. Okay, cool. Yeah, that feels a lot less claustrophobic for sure. I really like that. Wow, this marks a big moment in the development of Bonsai. No nav bar. It definitely opens up a lot more landscape. And with the way my logo is kind of vertically tall, it requires it to take up quite a bit of space if it's going to be decently sized. So we'll be able to shrink this down and conserve a lot of space as well. And then I'll probably convert these over to icons instead of just the words or the text, so that we can start looking a little bit more like a web app would look, and less as much like a blog would look. I want to start kind of shedding that blog look, maybe. Or maybe we only do that on mobile, because on desktop I think it looks pretty good. Like, that's not what we're looking at right here. That's not necessarily a blog look. That's just like a solid traditional website design. Anyways, with that being said, this lag time in the development environment is driving me insane. So I'm gonna cut this stream and then I'll be right back in like next 10-15 minutes, and we'll start attacking all that stuff, and it's gonna be loading a lot faster, so I think it's worth it. All right, see you soon.